Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this channel, we provide the in-depth knowledge of different programming languages like C, C++, Java, Python, which differentiate you with others. In our series of Python programming language, today we are going to discuss something known as identifiers and keywords. This is very important class. Try to concentrate on each and every line we are discussing. Let's start something known as identifiers and keywords. First of all, what is Python? Python is a programming language. It's a high level programming language. Python is a case sensitive language. What do you mean by case sensitive language? It senses the case, uppercase and a lowercase. For Java, capital A is different from small a. So that is why Python is a case sensitive language. Now what is an identifier? Python identifier is a name like variable name, function name, class name, module name. Python identifier is a name used to identify a variable, function, class, module or any other object through which Python identifier this is an object of type function है कि class है कि आपका module है कि variable है. तो Python identifier is a name used to identify a variable, function, class, module and other objects. But there are certain rules to create these identifiers. Now what are those rules? Let's discuss one by one. It is exactly same as C and C++. What we have discussed in C, the first character should be an alphabet, rest can be alphabet or digit or one special symbol, that is underscore sign. The same thing is applicable in Python identifiers also. Whether you want to give a function name or a module name or a class name or a variable name, you have to follow these rules. First character should be an alphabet, rest can be alphabet or digit or one special symbol, that is underscore sign. Next, keyword cannot be used as an identifier. Now what is keyword? Keyword is a word whose meaning is already defined to the machine. Now let's take an example of this. Now if you are having any doubt, तो you can ask me ना. Ultimately हम doubt clear करने के लिए ही बैठे हैं. जैसे सबने हमने बोला कि first character should be an alphabet. 1, 2, 3. It is fine. But I cannot write 1, 2, 3 A ना. This is wrong. I cannot have a plus b. We cannot have a special symbol in a identifier names. The first character should be an alphabet or underscore sign is also fine. But usually this underscore sign variables are system variables. So usually it's not a good practice to use underscore variable name in normal programming practice. But you can have. The first character should be an alphabet, rest can be alphabet or digit or one special symbol, that is underscore sign. Keywords cannot be used as an identifier. Now what are keywords? Keywords are the words whose meaning is already defined to the machine. In C we are having 32 keywords. In Python we are having 35 keywords. According to Python 3.7.4 release, it may varies from release to release. In Python 3.7.4 has 35 keywords that we have listed down. All keywords are in lowercase. What does it mean? No doubt Python is a case sensitive language, so all the keywords will be written in a lowercase. First character in some keywords, first character is capital, otherwise all the keywords are in lowercase. Keywords cannot be used as an identifier. What does it mean? It means you cannot have a variable name with none. You cannot have a variable name with def. You cannot have a variable name this final. These are also known as reserved words. Why these are known as reserved words? Because they are reserved by the Python language. It cannot be used by you or a programmer or a user. Getting my point? That is why we have written one point, keywords cannot be used as an identifier. So there are 35 keywords available in Python 3.7.4 release. This is a list. All these are keywords: false, none, true, and, as, assert, await, break, class. These are nothing but a keywords. What are keywords? Keywords are the words whose meaning is already defined to the machine. We can print a list of Python keywords through. How you can print this keyword? With this two line. Import keyword. What is import? Import is a keyword which is used to import the module. In Python, this keyword is a module. In C, these are header files. In Java, these are packages, and in Python, these are modules. Import keyword. Keyword is a name of the module. Makes the module keyword available in this program, and with the help of print function, printf keyword.kw list module name dot object or a function name, so it will display all the keywords on the output screen. So these are the two lines through which we can display all the keywords available in your Python version. You can check it out by writing this two line and check whether you are having 33 keywords or 35 keywords or 37 keywords. And you can check the version also. How you can check the version? You just write on a command line what Python __ version. So it will display 3.7.4 if you have installed the same version that I have installed. Otherwise it will give some different number. Okay. Next we will discuss something known as Python types. Now what are Python types? Python supports three types of data type. Python supports three types of data type. First one is basic type, second one is container types, and third one is user defined type. Today we will discuss basic types. In next class we are planning to discuss container types as well as user defined types, that are classes. Basic type: int, float, complex, bool, string, bytes. These are the example of basic types. Container types: list, tuple, set, dictionary. These are the example of container types, and classes are the example of user defined data type. So let's start with basic types. If we talk about basic type, int comes first. Int can be expressed in binary, decimal, octal, and hexadecimal. So there are four numbering system. Python support all the four, but if you want to differentiate a binary number or a decimal number or a octal number or a hexadecimal, you have to prefix that number with some values. For binary number you have to prefix with 0b, for octal 0o, for hexa 0x. If you are not specifying any prefix, so by default it is treated as a decimal number. Example: 0b10111 is an example of binary number, 0o435 is an example of octal number, and 0x4a8 is an example of hexadecimal number. Fine. So this is an integer. If we talk about float can be expressed in fractional or exponential form. Example: -3014.1528, 3.414 into 10 to the power 2. E2 matlab exponential 2. I think these things are we have already discussed in C, C++, Java or any programming language. No need to waste our precious time in all these things. Next is complex. Complex contains real and imaginary part. 3.2j. 3 is a real part and 2j is a imaginary part. Next, bool. Bool can take any two boolean values, both starting with caps, true and false. These are the two values which you can store in a bool data type. Next one is string. String is a immutable collection. What do you mean by immutable? Means you cannot modify that value. Okay, string is a immutable collection of Unicode character enclosed with a single quote, double quote or triple quote. Now what is the difference between single, double and triple? That we are discussed in the future classes. Today, if any data is between single quotes or a double quotes or a triple quote, it is treated as a string in Python. Fine. Bytes represent the binary data. If you want to store the binary data, you can define that variable as a bytes. So these are the some basic types available in Python: int, float, complex, bool, string and bytes. Next we are going to discuss something known as type function. Type of a particular data can be checked using a function called type. Now why it is so important, type? Because Python is a dynamic language. What do you mean by dynamic typed language? If you talk about specifically, Python is a dynamic type language, means at the time of execution it will decide कि which type of data, which type of variable is of type. Suppose if I write a equal to 10, तो at the time of compilation Python doesn't know कि a किस type का variable है. Why? Because we are not specifying int a here ना. तो at the time of execution Python checks कि a के अंदर कौन सी वैल्यू स्टोर है, कौन सी वैल्यू स्टोर है, 10 स्टोर है. 10 क्या है? इंटीजर कांस्टेंट है, तो a शुड बी इंटीजर वेरिएबल. तो डायनेमिकली इफ यू वांट टू चेक किस टाइप का डेटा है, तो टाइप इज व्हाट? टाइप इज अ फंक्शन. लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल. प्रिंट टाइप 37. तो if you execute this program you will get the output as a class int, and if I write print type 37.5 it will display class float. Now one more important thing, Python treat every data type as a class. Python treat every data type as a class. That is why it is not specifying int or float, it is specifying class int and class float. Getting my point? This we will discuss in future classes, why Python treat everything as a class. Next, let's talk about the integer range and a float range. Int can be any size, a equal to 123, b equal to 1 2 3 4 5 6. As much big you want, you can have the values. Python has arbitrary precision integer. What does it mean? It's a big number precision, means you can have any number you want to store, as big as you can, or as big as is the requirement of the application. Python has arbitrary precision integer, hence we can create as big integer as we want. Float represent internally 64-bit double precision values, ranges approximately 1.8 into 10 to the power 308. This is the range of a float. Next, how we can define a variable or how we can assign a variable, that we will discuss. There is no need to define the type of the variable in Python. This is a new thing that differentiates Python from the other languages. There is no need to define a type of a variable in Python. During execution, the type of the variable is inferred from the context in which it is being used. वो किस लिए use हो रहा है, according to that it will declare that variable. Hence Python is called what? Dynamically typed language. Whereas if we talk about C or C++ or Java or VC++, here we have to define that variable before the program start executing. You have to define int a, but here we are writing a equal to 125. We are not defining a का type क्या है. At the time of execution Python checks कि a के अंदर क्या store है, क्या किस context में a use हो रहा है. According to that it will declare that variable type. So here Python will check a equal to 125. 125 is an integer constant. So integer constant can be stored in an integer variable. So a will be declared as an integer variable. Same is in the case of b is equal to 3.14 and c is equal to high. B will be treated as float and c will be treated as a string. Okay. So during the execution, this line is very important. These three lines are very important. There is no need to define type of a variable. During execution, the type of the variable is inferred from the context in which it is being used. Hence, Python is called dynamic typed language. Okay, let's move further. How you can assign the values? You can write c is equal to 10 semicolon pi is equal to 3.14 semicolon name equal to Sanjay. You can use this semicolon as a statement separator in Python. C is equal to 10 semicolon pi is equal to 3.14 semicolon name is equal to Sanjay. You can write this statement as b comma pi comma name is equal to 10 comma 3.14 comma Sanjay. Nothing special about this कि first statement is better than second statement or second statement is better than first statement. According, if you are comfortable with first statement style, you follow first statement style. If you are comfortable with second statement style, you follow second statement. There are two ways to initialize multiple variables in a single line. According to the programmer's choice, आप c is equal to 10 pi equal to 3.14 name equal to संजय लिखिए, या b comma pi comma name equal to 10 comma 3.14 comma संजय लिखिए. Choice is yours. Next line, you can write a equal to b equal to c is equal to d is equal to 5. So this is another way to initialize a single value to different variables. A equal to b equal to c is equal to d is equal to 5. This is how we can initialize a value to a multiple variables. I think we should stop here. In next lecture we will start something known as arithmetic operators. Till time, thank you very much.